Hello friends, I'm Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, nice to meet you. I have a quick little morning flow for you today just to help you wake up that body and ease into the day. So if you are ready, let's get started. So we are going to get started on our backs today in that lovely little relaxation position that we all love. And today, however, we are going to have our legs together. So the soles of the feet are on the ground, our knees are bent, but you're sticking your legs together. Your arms are going to come out into this low V position, palms facing up towards that ceiling. And again, just taking stock of that spine, back of the ribs are pressing into the mat. There's a little bit of that space in your lumbar. And we're just gonna mobilize our spine a little bit with some hip rolls. So keeping those legs together, you're going to rotate from that torso, dipping your legs over to that left side, only as far as you can without lifting that right shoulder, that opposite shoulder. And then you're gonna use that core to help de-rotate, straighten out, knees come all the way back up, pointing to the ceiling. Onto the other side with an exhale, your opposite foot lifts up from that mat. Again, only going as far as you can without lifting that opposite shoulder, and then you're gonna bring everything back in nice and slow. If you wanna take more of a stability challenge, I mean, it's not a huge challenge though, you can bring your arms up, palms faced in, and you can take the same action, and it just means that you kind of lose that stability that your arms offer from being on the ground. But let's just do one more on each side. Just evening out, starting to warm up that lumbar, warm up that core, find that connection. And then when you've evened out, we're just going to bring our arms all the way back down, and we're going to bring our legs up, one at a time, into double knee fold. And then we're just going to lower that foot back down one at a time. So we're just bringing our legs into tabletop, maybe alternating that starting leg, and then we're just setting it down one at a time. Again, just waking up that core gently. Maybe you just rolled out of bed. Just want to start finding that connection in that center. And then let's just do one more. And then once you have set your feet down, let's actually bring our legs into tabletop one at a time. We're good. So we're in this tabletop position, our hands are just long down beside us, and let's just take some toe taps. So again, moving from the hips, keeping that 90-degree angle in your leg, you're just going to send those toes down, flexing at the hips, only as far as you can without lifting in that rib, and then you're gonna bring it all the way back up. Exhaling to lower onto your right leg now, and then inhaling to bring everything back up. And again, it's just your legs moving as one piece from those hips. Your spine is staying nice and still and in that neutral alignment. Let's just do two more on each side. Again, absolutely no rush. Maybe you want to try to send your toes a little bit further down each time. Doesn't have to touch the mat. Last one. And then, once you've evened out, we're going to bring those legs together, and we're going to place our hands behind our head, elbows into our peripherals, keeping your feet in that double knee fold. We're going to find that a couple of curl ups. So tucking that chin in, we're going to lift our head, our shoulders, looking at our thighs, and then slowly come all the way down with control. Exhale to tuck that chin in to find that curl up, and then inhale to lower, keeping your elbows at the edges of your corner the entire time. Let's just do one more like this. And when you return your head, we're gonna alternate toe taps and curl ups, but this time we're going to do double toe taps. So with your head still on the mat, you're going to hinge at those hips, keeping that 90-degree angle in the knees, dipping those toes down at the same time, and then using that core to bring it all the way back in. And then you're just going to tuck that chin in, come up into that curl up, and then come all the way back down. Exhaling to dip both of those toes down. Inhale to pull everything back in, knees returning over your hips. And then exhale to lift into that curl up. And then inhale to lower. Again, the most important thing is that you are moving with intention and you are moving with your breath. So anything that I talk about regarding breathing pattern is simply just a suggestion, and it's just for you to make that connection with your breath. Let's just do 2 more. Again, try not to pull at your head. You don't really need to bring your toes that low either. Just a little bit is totally fine. Whatever works for you. Let's finish up our last one. And then we're going to go ahead and remove our hands from our head and then bring our legs down one at a time. Maybe just do some windshield wiper motions just to relieve some of that tension in your core. You might want to bring it out a little bit wider as well to about mat width. And then when you're ready, we're just going to bring our legs back into that tabletop position, and we're going to grab a hold of our thighs, and we're just going to come into some assisted teasers. So you're going to tuck that chin in, and as you come up, you're going to push those thighs into your hands until you're practically sitting on your tailbone. Your legs are in this bent position like a boat position, and your back is straight, your chest is open, and you're looking slightly up. Your shoulders are down away from your ears, and your elbows are nice and bent. Okay, tucking that tailbone, rounding in that spine, we're gonna come all the way back into that lying position where our hands are staying behind those thighs. So exhaling to curl up and finding that modified teaser, opening that chest, looking slightly up, and then rounding that back to bring yourself all the way to the mat. Let's just do 1 more. Exhaling up into that modified teaser, and then inhaling to come all the way back down. Nice. Setting your feet back down one at a time. Let's roll over onto our side, and we're going to come up into standing. So very carefully, we're going to push ourselves onto our feet. Just so you know, we can resume our day already in a standing position. So we're just finishing up our last couple of exercises. So let's get into some squats, just to mobilize the rest of our lower body. So finding about a hip width distance apart, sitting up nice and tall, a bit of that curve in your lower back, ribs nice and soft, top of the head drawing up towards that ceiling, shoulders away from your ears, soft bend to those knees. And we're just gonna have our arms dangling by our side. So let's do some squats, sending our bottom back as our arms sweep up, just stopping in our peripheral so we're not locking in the shoulders, and then you're just gonna straighten back up. Exhaling to find that seat, and then inhaling to straighten. You want a little bit of that uprightness in that torso just to keep a relative neutral pelvis and spine. And then the next time that we take that squat, when we come up, we're going to lift those heels, rise up to our tippy toes, and then we're going to come back down into that squat. So just a little bit of that stability challenge. Let's just do 2 more like this. Going nice and slow, trying not to rush. Last one, best one. And then let's just lower those heels. And then we're going to bring our hands behind our head, elbows in our peripherals. Just do some side dips. Again, keeping a nice soft bend in those knees. Let's come over and dip over to that right side, only as far as you can without rotating in the hip or lifting in the opposite foot. and then slowly coming back up using that center. So exhaling to find a dip onto the other side, and then inhaling to pull everything back up. Really trying to keep those elbows fixed in place. So you want them constantly in the corner of your eyes. Again, bending in those knees. It also helps keep those hips nice and stable. Let's just even out on both sides. And then when you're ready, we're just going to bring our arms all the way back down onto our sides, and let's just do some roll downs. So again, sitting up nice and tall, arms just down by your side. We're going to tuck that chin in to start that roll down. And as you come all the way down, sorry if I'm talking really close to the mic, your top of your head and your hands are reaching towards the mat. And as you approach the mat, we're just going to bend into those knees. Inhale, nice big deep breath. And then exhale to pick yourself back up, like there's a string pulling your belly button and spine as you unfold in the hips. And then once you've straightened out in the hips, you're just going to stack all the way back up into standing, head returning last. And let's just take, again, arms go up, heels lift into this floating position, just to challenge our stability before we continue with our day. Let's just do one more like this. Going nice and slow. Maybe at the bottom, we're gonna stay here for a couple of breaths. You're bending deep into those knees. Maybe you wanna do a little swivel side to side. You wanna hug your calves just to feel a bit of a deeper stretch in those legs. And then on your next exhale, we're just going to slowly come all the way back up into standing. And then again, taking a nice little heel lift. And then we're setting our heels back down. And then you are all done. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I hope, whether you're doing this in the morning or, in the middle of the day, in the evening, whatever, I hope it helped woke you up a little bit, gave you a bit of energy, and just empowers you to do your best and give it your all today. So I will see you next week. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. Bye.